Hello, and thank you so much for joining me for another horse rider Pilates session where we're going to be focusing on your abdominal muscles, your abs. These are a really key muscle group for helping to stabilise and control the movement of your back, and that's the bit of your body that's really connecting your upper body, also known as your contact, and your lower body, also known as your seat around your pelvis. So a really key muscle group to be working. I hope that you're warmed up before you do this session. If not, pause, go and do a warm-up session and then come back and join this one in a few moments time. Okay, so let's start with you sitting, if you can, cross-legged. If you're not comfortable cross-legged, then good old frog's legs like so is absolutely fine. We're just going to put arms across your chest. Think about having equal weight in your seat bones, and then you're turning through your upper body from side to side, thinking about keeping your shoulders level as you turn, and equal weight through your seat bones. Then you're going to change it, so as you turn you allow yourself to drop back on the seat bone on which you're moving towards. So really feel how much your body starts to move as you do that. Feel the weight shifting through your seat bones as you do those turns, and feel how much your tummy muscles start to work as you control that movement. So you're trying not to flop back, you're trying to control that movement. As you're in the saddle moving with the horse moves side to side, doesn't move both sides at the same time. So being able to do this and control this movement around your pelvis using your tummy muscles to help is really key. Okay, onto your back, and we're going to start off with your oblique prep exercise. So feet and knees approximately hip width apart, wherever feels comfortable, and find wherever feels neutral for you with your pelvis. Doesn't matter too much where that is. Pelvic floor onto floor 3. Left hand at the top of your neck or the base of your head. Float your right fingers, reach for your toes, and then bring your left shoulder towards your right knee. Take everything back down together. So it's pelvic floor, float, reach into that turn, everything down together. Watch that you're not pulling with your left hand, so if you are, put your fingers around your ear instead. Keep your low back still, so we're not imprinting with this one. We're keeping low back still, so you're really moving through your upper and mid back into that turn. And your oblique muscles are important for stability as you turn through your body, so they're a key group to work. Okay, let's swap and go the other way. So again, now you've got your right hand at the top of your neck, base of your head, left hand by your side, float your fingers, reach for your toes, and into that turn. Once again, low back stays still. You're just moving through your upper and mid back. Remember to breathe. We'll do one more this way. Okay, we're going to move on to your double leg stretch. I'm going to go straight in with the harder version. If you want to do the easy version, you can of course do that. That just involves keeping your legs onto the floor. Harder version, we're going up into your tabletop, so legs 90 degrees at hips and knees. Straight in with your arms as well. We're going to do the legs with the arm circles. So pelvic floor, ribs towards your pelvis, then you're straightening one leg as you do a half circle out with your arms. Bring the leg back as you finish that circle. So half circle out, half circle in, half circle out, half circle in. Keep the breathing, keep the pelvic floor, and keep your ribs sinking towards your pelvis, otherwise they're going to do this and your ribs are going up towards the ceiling, and that's not really what you want. You want that connection from your upper body to your pelvis to be secure, not fixed and rigid, but nice and secure. Let's just confuse your brain. Take your arms in circles going the opposite directions. Still ribs to pelvis, pelvic floor onto floor 3. Don't forget to breathe, crucial. Do one more. Okay, bring your arms down, bring your legs down one at a time, have a breather for a second. We're going to move on to your hip twist. Again, I'm going to do this from the tabletop version. You can do this on the floor if you want. The arm part of this is exactly the same whether you're on the floor or in tabletop. So, legs up into tabletop again, 90 degrees at hips and knees, arms back up above your shoulders, and we're taking one leg out to the side as the opposite arm goes in the opposite direction, and then both back up, like so. So if you're doing this on the floor, remember your foot stays on the floor and you roll the knee. If you're going from tabletop like I am, it's the whole leg is on the go. This is one of your wine glass exercises, so remember you want to be thinking the knee, the leg and the arm that aren't moving stay still enough that if you had the glass of wine balanced, it would still be full at the end of the exercise. Ribs to pelvis again, so that nice connection between upper and lower body is staying really still. We'll do one more each way. Super job. Again, arms back down, feet down one at a time, have a little bit of a breather. This next one you can only really do in the tabletop position. So if you're feeling a bit tired and you need to breathe, go back to doing the oblique prep that we did right back at the beginning, because we're going to do your crisscross. This is a tough exercise. I confess it's not my best exercise, but it's a good one to do. So again, tabletop, pelvic floor onto floor 3, and you're reaching onto that diagonal, so your outside hand goes halfway down your shin, inside hand goes into the inside of the knee. Back down, straight off into the opposite side. So you're rocking from side to side, just touching the floor with your spine in between each one. Pelvic floor onto floor 3 if you can, and make sure that you're still breathing. We'll do one more each way. Super job. Okay, feet down one at a time, have a little bit of a breather. That's really hard. Okie doke. We're going to move on to your hundreds. Again, you can do this on the floor, but this is a hard session, so let's go for having your legs up in tabletop if you can. Arms onto the floor beside you, ribs to pelvis, pelvic floor onto floor 3. And then you're patting those imaginary puddles of water by your sides. And then take your arms out to the side if you've got enough room. If you haven't got enough room, keep them where they were. And then bring them back round by your side. Concentrating on keeping that movement coming from your shoulders, not from your wrists or your fingers. And keeping your legs in tabletop. It's really easy with this because you think about your arms to let the legs drop. So keep them in tabletop. Keep breathing. Keep your pelvic floor onto floor 3. And then when you bring your arms back down by your side for the final time, then it's feet down one at a time. We're going to come up into sitting, and we're going to have a go at doing your leg pull. So arms behind you, they need to be a little way behind you. If they're underneath you, it makes it really awkward. So behind you, I find it most comfortable with my hands pointing, or my fingers pointing away from me, but do what feels best for you. Pelvic floor onto floor 3, and open your hips like a hinge, then slowly back down. Pelvic floor into that lift, slowly back down. If this is enough for you, you can stay doing this version. Otherwise, we're going to come up into this position and hold whilst you lift each leg in turn. And your challenge now is to think about, as much as possible, keeping your pelvis really still. So that ability to balance on one side, keep stable through the hip as you move the other hip. Pelvis needs to stay still. For you to do that, to make sure you're breathing. So key, whether you're exercising like this or whether you're working hard in the saddle, keep breathing. Keep the pelvic floor onto floor 3 if you can. One more each leg. Okay, bring yourself down, close that hinge, and then we're going to go onto your hands and knees. We're going to do your leg pull from here. So, hands under just in front of your shoulders, knees underneath your hips, toes underneath your feet, pelvic floor onto floor 3, lift your pelvis, slowly back down. So we're looking for that little lift, slowly back down. Watching that you don't go right up here, that's way easier and it's cheating. Okay, if you want to go harder, hands a bit further in front of your shoulders, little lift, pushing forwards into your full plank, back over your knees and rest back down. So it's pelvic floor, lift, over your knees. So again, watching you don't come up here, watching you don't go into a funny cobra position, but into the plank, back over and down. We're going to make it harder still. So again, lift, over, going to float one leg out to the side, back in and down. Float the other leg out to the side, back in and down. Keeping still through your upper body, keeping still through your pelvis. So we're looking for that precision of movement around your hips, just as you need in the saddle for your leg aids. Don't forget to breathe. You can keep your pelvic floor onto floor 3 as well. That's amazing. One more with each leg. Super job. Back over your knees, rest back down, and then you're going to bring, if you can comfortably, get your bottom onto your heels, and then take your arms out in front of you. If you can't get your bottom onto your heels, just hover where feels most comfortable. Stretch your arms out in front. Allow your head to sink. And then it's a couple of nice deep breaths. Let everything just relax and let go. And then bring your hands back up towards your knees. And we are going to finish there. So, a bit of a whiz through some of those exercises, but they're all quite hard, so you don't want to spend necessarily too long doing exercise with that intensity. Hope you found those enjoyable. If it's highlighted some areas that are weak for you, then remember to add those in a little bit more often just at the moment. Thank you so much for joining. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you on the next session.